Alright, this is gonna have to do for now. Ooh, there we go. So, hot damn, it's been a while since I last did Pokemon, hasn't it? Well, last time my focal points were on Generation 1 and Generation 2, with some fun little side projects thrown in there. I did Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, Pokemon Snap, I believe, and I did a little stint on the Pokemon trading card game. A fun little adventure, but God, I don't know what I was thinking when making some of those videos. You can clearly tell I was running through a head cold when I was recording the script for Generation 1, and Generation 2, I poked fun at Bugsy's design that could easily be taken as transphobic. I don't know, I mean, fuck it. Bugsy has bug-type Pokemon at its disposal. Ugh. Not one of my better quips, so my apologies for that mistake. Either way, I haven't done Pokemon since then, and I sort of feel like I'm out of practice. I don't mean for the franchise, period. Oh no, I've been back on the Pokemon train since Generation 5 Part 2. It's crazy last time I did Pokemon for this channel. Black and White 1 were the current gen. We got all the 3DS games nowadays, and Nintendo is now setting their sights on the Nintendo Switch. The Pokemon craze has been consistently strong throughout the years, but in 2016 its popularity once again surged, all thanks to the release of Pokemon Go. I'm sure you all know what Pokemon Go is at this point in time. Even if you never touched the app, you probably had parents or friends that never touched a Pokemon game in their life find themselves all over this app. So I won't spend too long here. This app was all the buzz when it was released, and back then you could only walk around your neighborhood, catch some Pokemon, battle gyms to leave your mark, Go Team Valor, and visit Pokestops for additional items. Now you can participate in raid battles, send gifts to your friends, you can also trade and battle with them. Yes, believe it or not, this had to be added in later. You can walk with your favorite Pokemon and get more candy to make them stronger. The game has considerably grown since its release, and though I'm nowhere near addicted to it as I once was, I still find some time to load it up, maybe catch a Pokemon here to keep a streak going for experience points, and send gifts to my friends. When I remember to load the game up when I'm out of the house. My neighborhood is a death zone, it sucks. What do you want me to do, get up and walk? Okay, so I figured I actually need to start losing weight soon, so I should probably start heading out. So let's find a Pokestop here. I have to walk quite a bit for a video here, and that's always fun, and it's like, yeah. When in doubt, churches are usually a good spot to get Poke items and other shit. You can find God and maybe an evolution stone. Alright, so we're gonna spin this here. No gift. So, sorry to all my friends. Oh, it turns out there's actually a raid battle close by. We can do that real quick. I have to go inside a fucking baseball field just to get a damn raid battle going on here. I don't know, I feel like I'm intruding. Also, I ran into a fan of the channel while I was walking down here, so shout outs to Donovan. It's nice meeting you, dude. Good luck with football practice. I've actually never done one of these before, so I'm trying to see what's, oh boy, don't fuckle with Shuckle. Holy fuck, you can't do anything against these dudes with just one person being here. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna win this. Yeah, that's about what I expected. Well, this was quite a pleasant experience. I think I deserve an award. Just gonna make a quick trip here and get back home because I'm fucking freezing out here. Mission accomplished. I am an adult. Alright then, now I'm sure Pokemon Go made Game Freak a shit ton of money, and wanting to convert all those casual Pokemon Go players into dedicated Pokemon fans, they gave us Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee for the Nintendo Switch. Remakes of the first generation that incorporates gameplay mechanics of Pokemon Go. Structurally, it's based off Pokemon Yellow, meaning we have the inclusion of Jessie and James from the anime, and access to all 3 original starters should you catch enough Pokemon, among a few other things. When fans were waiting for the announcement of the next generation of Pokemon games, I don't think this is what they had in mind, but I'm not against the idea of trying to bring in new players to the series, even though Pokemon throughout the years has gotten more and more user-friendly to the point where everybody can pick it up at this point. There's nothing complicated at all, so how do you attempt to simplify it further? Let's find out. I bought Pokemon Let's Go Eevee for my Switch because I thought, like Pokemon Yellow, if you went with Pikachu, you wouldn't be able to evolve them. What, you don't like your cute and marketable mascot, you piece of shit? That's still technically true here. Your Pikachu or Eevee will outright refuse to evolve no matter how hard you press them, but this time, unlike Yellow, both games offer a means to get more than one Pikachu or Eevee that you can evolve as you see fit. Which is good for me because I love Raichu and Vaporeon. Raichu's my favorite Mon, period, and Vaporeon, Eevee's water-type evolution, has been my go-to water-type for close to 20 years now, though surprisingly, I ended up not recruiting a Vaporeon into my team this go-around, which I'll explain in a bit. Well, if I'm going to start somewhere, I might as well start with the presentation and soundtrack. The music's amazing in this game. All of my favorite songs from Generation 1 have been given A+ treatment in sound quality and composition. Visually, Let's Go is not much more graphically intensive than a polished 3DS game, which I know to some might be a step back from Gen 7, but I think it's perfectly fine. We're back to a simpler time, so simpler graphics and world design, comparatively speaking, feel right at home, and the game is still rocking a vibrant color palette in its region, and has some pretty nifty battle effects. First complaint though, you can't use a Pro Controller for this game at all, and I don't understand why. If you're playing in handheld mode, you have access to both Joy-Cons and you can use the gyroscope to aim your Pokeballs at wild Pokemon. Well, a Pro Controller is basically two Joy-Cons taped together and also has a gyroscope feature, so what's the fucking hold up here? You can only use a single Joy-Con when playing the game docked, and you don't even hold the Joy-Con like an NES controller. You hold it like a TV remote. And though you get used to it, it always feels a little off. I feel like a couch potato melting away in my chair surfing through Pokemon channels without actually playing the Pokemon channel, remember that? You also have to use the motion control to throw Pokeballs when using the single Joy-Con, and god, this feel clunky in the first few hours. I lost count at how many times I thought I threw the ball straight ahead, only for that son of a bitch to veer away like I had a cat allergy. Also, I get that I lose a ball if a Pokemon busts out of the thing. That shit is gone, there's nothing left, okay. But when I simply miss a throw, why does that count as a loss? Why can't I just go and pick the ball up from the ground? Does it disintegrate upon touching the grass? Take my advice, don't swing your arm in a forward arc like the game wants you to. I found it much better and accurate to lob the thing like a softball. If you want to aim it left or right, all you gotta do is slightly angle it left or right when you throw it. I still ended up misfiring sometimes because motion controls can never be perfect, but mistakes were less common. I don't know how that Pokeball accessory works. It's a neat idea, but I didn't feel like dropping $50 on the thing to really test it out. And apparently you have to buy this in order to capture Mew in the game, so that's great. A fully completed Kanto Pokédex is locked behind a $50 paywall. But yeah, in Pokemon Let's Go, this is what replaces wild encounters. Instead of sending your Pokemon out to paralyze, burn, poison, or semi-euthanize your potential new friend, you go straight into Pokeball tossing. You remember the Safari Zone from Gen 1 where you couldn't use your Pokemon and had to use bait and other items to calm a Pokemon down, throw balls at their face, and hope for the best? That's pretty much how Pokemon catching is handled in its entirety now, which was also the case in Pokemon Go. Random encounters are completely gone, and I'm okay with this. Pokemon you can encounter are clearly seen in the overworld now, leaving it up to you to pick your battles, so to speak. And it also makes looking for those rare Pokemon more manageable. No longer do I have to hope for a Pikachu in Viridian Forest with its abysmal 5% appearance rate. I can just observe the area and see if they're around. If not, I keep going until they pop up. I realize the time I spend waiting for a specific Pokemon to show up is not much different than the time I spend going through battles and hoping the right mon shows up, but I feel more in control in this kind of setup, and I feel that's an important distinction. Seeable encounters also make going through Mount Moon and Rock Tunnel much less annoying. There's still an abundance of Pokemon running around, and you can still invest in repels to keep Pokemon away entirely. But it is good to know that I don't have to worry about Zubats barging my screen every millisecond, although sometimes, especially in caves, Pokemon can just instantly pop up in front of you, and when it's something like Onix, sweet Jesus! You don't fight the wild Pokemon in any capacity, you simply aim your Pokeball at the fidgety creature and capture them that way. The ring around them indicates how difficult the catch will be, green being likely, with red being very unlikely. However, if you manage to strike the Pokemon inside the shrinking ring, you can get a bonus multiplier, which helps improve your catch rate. The smaller the circle, the greater the bonus. When I learned that trainer battles were still a thing and that you were still on a quest to get 8 gym badges and enter the Pokemon League, I was like, wait, hold on, if you don't have wild encounters, how the hell do I make my Pokemon stronger? There's only so many trainer battles I can face at once, and sooner or later that level curve is going to hit me hard if I'm fighting nothing but trainers. And this ain't Generation 2, I'm going to have to try at some point. But Jesus, did I underestimate how much they would skew the balance in your favor. In Let's Go, just catching Pokemon grants you experience points for your team, and unlike the old games, experience points spread out to your whole team at once. So you don't have to worry about swapping your low levels out of the front lines as soon as the battle starts. No, you can still use your higher level Pokemon as much as you want, and your whole team benefits from it. And man, does this break Generation 1 in half. It is super easy to over level in Let's Go. You can catch multiple copies of a single Pokemon to increase your combo bonuses. If you see a wandering Pokemon that's glowing blue or red, you can earn big time experience points just by catching those repeatedly. I was surprised to see how many Pokemon I ended up catching. I never intended on completing the Pokédex, but damn, I ended up with nearly 2/3 of the whole Kanto roster in my completion log just as I was going along. That's how significant catching Pokemon is in this iteration. Though you're only allowed to use a single Joy-Con when playing docked, a buddy of yours can grab the second Joy-Con and summon a support trainer that can help you capture Pokemon. You use 2 Pokeballs at once instead of 1 now, but you also now get a synchronized bonus that makes capturing more guaranteed and just rakes in all the experience points. I was consistently 10 to 15 levels ahead of trainers and gym leaders throughout my whole journey. It was insane. And the breaking only gets more severe, I guess. Your support trainer can also help you in battles. They can summon another Pokemon from your lineup, basically making every battle a 2-on-1. If there was any remaining challenge left, this just snuffed it out of existence. This game also uses added mechanics from later gens, notably the benefits from taking care of your Pokemon. If you give your team extra care and attention, heal them when they're hurt or talk to them outside their Pokeballs, They can show their appreciation in battle by getting more critical hits, shrugging off status effects through sheer force of will, or by getting more preemptive strikes, all because they love ya. Although I wish Pikachu didn't look like she was ready to poison my sandwich whenever I gave her a compliment. Depending on what version of the game you get, it's your Eevee or Pikachu that gets the most attention. Between battles, you can check up on your little buddy and give them a good petting or feed them some special treats to raise their affection values. With enough love and care, they can make you items that you can sell in shops, and in battle they can perform special techniques that can buff your party's defenses or launch a super attack. Whenever you see this little icon, it helps to spend a few seconds to check on your pal because, alright, the game is already easy enough, but come on, it feels good to high-five your butt after winning a battle. Celine sure as shit ain't gonna give me any high fives, but that's cool. Once I teach her how to breathe fire, you're all fucked. But that's another thing, it's very possible to play this entire game using no one but your Pokemon pal. On top of having perfect stats making their growth more substantial, they also level up faster than normal, and there's also this dude that can teach your Eevee or Pikachu special techniques to help cover a wide range of weaknesses. And some of these techniques, goddamn, I got so much use out of Bouncy Bubble, a hard-hitting water attack that also restored health whenever it did damage. With this, I found no need to add a Vaporeon to my team. My little Bob was more than enough, and yeah, I named my Eevee Bob. There's always room for a Bob. Pokemon still have things like individual values, the stuff that separates an average Pikachu from an amazing Pikachu, but effort values, never have they been so easy to stack up. Any additional Pokemon you don't need, you can send to Professor Oak, and in exchange he gives you candy that comes in all flavors. You can use these candies to raise the stats of your Pokemon. You want more special attack for your Alakazam? There you go. Before you had to use vitamins to do this, and they were quite expensive and you could only use so much, but now they're as easy to get as farming Pokemon. There are even candies made exclusively for certain Pokemon that raise all of their stats at once. The main campaign is such a far cry from previously that it really emphasizes how lacking Kanto is as a region. Now, I have loads of nostalgia for Generation 1, and I'll never forget my earliest memories I have with it, but Kanto, especially compared to later gens, is remarkably bare. You're a 10-year-old up-and-coming Pokemon trainer who sets off to be a Pokemon master and stops the Japanese mafia along the way. However, when you break it down, you don't do much in this world besides travel to the next town and fight trainers, and Let's Go, as a glorified remake of Pokemon Yellow, doesn't do much to make it better. The routes west and south of Fuchsia City are still an onslaught of trainers with nothing else happening. The piers south of Lavender Town and the waters east of Cinnabar Island are also just as bad. Shit, if anything, you can call the whole thing a step back from Fire Red and Leaf Green on the Game Boy Advance. Those at least tried something new with the Sevi Island subplot, actual quality notwithstanding, but Let's Go has nothing of the sort. It has some degree of post-game content to be fair, besides the returning Cerulean Cave that has Mewtwo waiting within. There's now over 150 new Master Trainers spread throughout the world that test your skills with certain Pokemon. But these are all the same, it's just a one-on-one mirror match with no items allowed, and there's not much to show for it besides titles you can show off in online battles, or an unlockable battle with Red. Yeah, Red. No, you're not having an existential crisis. The kid you control in Let's Go is completely different, as is your rival. Instead of the douchebag Blue, it's this other kid who's much friendlier and wants to be just as much of a Master Trainer as you do without being a total dickhead about it. Although Blue is still in this game, you still have your scuffle with him at one point, but now he's more of a helpful asset in taking Team Rocket down. Bonus points for also bringing in Green, the elusive third trainer that for years only existed in concept artwork and a Pokemon manga, I think. And no, I don't count Leaf. If she was supposed to be green, they would have called her Green, but it's Leaf. Totally different. But yeah, now Green's here is a super powerful trainer that is confusingly obsessive with throwing balls at your face. I don't know, maybe it makes more sense in the manga, but I don't want to read the manga. Pokemon get chopped in half in the manga. For as much as Let's Go painfully sticks to the game's roots in terms of the region's core design, there was effort placed here to make progression more streamlined. There are more instances where your rival, gym leaders, and other outside encounters help guide you to your next destination, while at the same time making the story feel more connected. You know, looking back, stopping Team Rocket in the original game felt extremely incidental, like it's just something you happen to do while gathering your gym badges. But Let's Go makes them more of a nuisance to justify their importance in the story. It's nuance that I think only veterans can probably appreciate the most, and they're likely going brain dead from the repetitious battles, but I still admire the extra detail. And you know, if you love Generation 1, I mean, it's nearly got all the beats with some much needed fat trimming, and by that I mean no more HMs needed for progression. Yeah, I know HMs have been phased out since Gen 6, but for Kanto, come on man, this is damn near groundbreaking. You no longer have to worry about having a Pokemon slot taken for the sole purpose of cutting trees or pushing rocks or lighting up a cave. Your Pokemon pal can now do all of that without having to learn any new moves, and god, this is what it should have been since day one. I always wondered why the trainer never got any sort of permanent tools to travel across water and whatnot, and originally it was supposed to be that way if you look back at prototypes of Gen 1. But no, they insisted on HMs, and they always sucked, and I'm not looking forward to going back a few generations for future videos solely because of this, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. But you know, now if you want to fly to a previous area, you ride a balloon ship. If you want to travel in water, you ride a surfboard. That's how it should have been, and I'm so glad Let's Go does it this way, except for the bicycle exclusion. You don't get a bike in Let's Go for reasons I'll never understand. If you want faster movement, ultimate, you need to ride a Pokemon, but you can't ride every Pokemon, although I'd love to fast travel on a Pidgey just for the visual humor alone. You can only ride on certain Pokemon, so I hope one of your favorites is eligible, otherwise you're wasting a slot on just having a ride bitch, and shit, maybe they didn't learn anything from HMs after all. Kanto isn't completely the same as you might remember it. Celadon City doesn't have the game corner anymore. I mean, it's still there, but you can't play on the machines any longer. Apparently it had something to do with gambling laws overseas, so I hope you don't mind that change. I never care for the slot machines personally. I'm glad I can just find a Porygon in the grass now, call me mundane. Since the whole game is one giant Safari Zone now, the actual Safari Zone in Fuchsia has been replaced with the Go Park, where you can link your Pokemon Go account with your Let's Go file. From here you can transfer your Pokemon, at least the ones from Kanto, into the Switch and either watch them frolic in the park, or you can catch them and add them to your roster. Not a bad idea really, I like it. It's a good way to get Pokemon not available in your version of the game. For instance, since I got Let's Go Eevee, I can't get Growlithe, meaning I can't get Arcanine, one of my favorite fire types. I mean, yeah, I suppose there is the Arcanine you can get from this lady by catching 5 Meows, but it's not the same, it's not mine. But in my Go account, I got a surplus of Growlithe, so now I can just bring them aboard. Strangely, well, okay, I don't know why I say strangely, it's because Game Freak wants you to buy Sun and Moon. You can also migrate Alolan versions of certain Kanto Pokemon, so rejoice, you can get your Icy Vulpixes or your fat-headed Persians into Let's Go just fine. I'd consider migrating an Alolan Raichu to my file, but I already got my Raichu for this game and she ain't going anywhere. And I love how the game lets you have one of your Pokemon follow you around. That was one of the best things they introduced in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and they haven't done it again until now. Can this just be a feature for the rest of time? It's a small thing, but I enjoy seeing my favorite Pokemon tag along and getting stuck between chairs and couches. Christ, Raichu, suck it in, baby! Mechanically, I would still say Fire Red and Leaf Green are the more fulfilling Generation 1 remakes, if only because they're not complete walk in the parks like these games are, and thus don't feel as mindless, but as games designed to reel in the Pokemon Go crowd who are likely more casual than loafers, I'd say these are perfect introductory courses. I find some of the simplification a bit overkill, seeing that Pokemon has already been getting easier and more streamlined with each passing generation, but I can see young kids and parents picking this up and having fun going on an adventure together. Although parents will probably wonder when it would fucking end. These are RPGs after all. 2 players can join in at once and decimate opponents together. You can still trade and battle between friends locally and through the online service, and you get some added benefits for having a Pokemon Go account. If you end up enjoying Let's Go, I strongly recommend you consider picking up some of the older stuff to get a more traditional experience. Hell, pick up Sun or Moon. I think these are legitimately fulfilling games, you know. Just to jump the gun on that opinion there, hell, who knows when I'll get to the 3DS games, so I might as well tell you what I think about them now while they're being brought up. But okay then, I think my Pokemon muscles are nice and relaxed. I'm ready to begin this marathon proper, so next time we're going to jump back to the Game Boy Advance with Pokemon Generation 3. And it's my first time jumping into the Hoenn region, the region I completely skipped over last time. Here's hoping it's great. Who knows? Opinions all over the board with this one, so, woo. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care. I can't help but feel I'm forgetting something, though. Yeah, it'll come back to me later. Was it? No. I feel like there's a cliffhanger I didn't resolve. Oh, of course. I didn't start round 2 yet. I should probably get to that.